Over the last few years, I've been trying to make a mini snowmobile to go backcountry skiing. It hasn't worked. At first, I tried to use an electric longboard. I even attached skins to it, but realized quickly that while it worked great on the snow by itself, as soon as you added some weight to it, snow forms a perfect little wedge, and skateboards aren't really good at going over wedges. So that's why there's skis in front of snowmobiles, right? So now on to the next version, where I took apart a awesome electric portable bandsaw and thought, okay, I'll have plenty of torque with that, right? I even added a little ski to the front that knocked the snow down and a razor scooter frame. But as you can see, it still wouldn't work. All right, so in my quest to make the perfect mini snowmobile, I started out with this electric longboard. But the problem I ran into is these little 300-watt motors, they're direct drive. So they didn't have enough torque to get over the snow getting crushed and turning into a little ramp. And so I needed something that had some gearing. So that was the first attempt. And it moved a little bit with the skins on the ground. And so I thought the skins would also work still. And so then with this version, I used a portable electric cordless bandsaw because it had a ton of torque because you need a lot to cut through a metal pipe. And then it also had the right feet per minute for me to go, about 5 miles an hour, which is what I was looking forward to. So I was like, great, I have tons of torque. And so I added this ski skin onto here with its crown belts pulleys. And I don't know if you know how skins work. Skins are pretty neat. So it's a one-way fabric, kind of like a felt. And so you slide easily going forward on skis. But then if you try and go uphill, it grabs. It's almost like petting a cat the wrong way. And so it allows you to actually hike uphill on your skis, which is pretty cool. Problem is that it's pretty slick on the backside. You can get some with glue, but I was trying not to use that. And so eventually the snow was slipping on the pulleys and the glue itself was not going to hold itself in place. Um, and so I needed something to really hold the motor and whatever the tank tread was together in place. And that is when I thought about timing belts. Timing belts are basically rubber belts. They've got these awesome, super grippy teeth on them. You can get them in all sorts of shape and sizes. And then the coolest part is if you want, since it's rubber, you can actually glue on these little knobs and you can have little teeth to give you extra traction. So with that in mind, now I had my next step. Version 3, lots of torque and teeth, and we're going to see what we can come up with.
All right, but before we get started, let's see what I've got in the box. Are you like me? Do you like to open up packages with a lockpick? Well, that's what I got at my desk right now. So, this is the lightest hub motor that I could find on the market. It weighs 1.6 kilograms.
So for my third design, I decided to design in Onshape. I used to use SolidWorks, but I've now switched over to Onshape since for public files, it's basically free. And in the long run, I actually think I'm liking it better because I don't need to have as strong of a computer to run it. I can run it on any laptop in the house, so it's been pretty nice so far. So basically, this design has a drive wheel here, and then you got this wheel here with the tensioner. That's just an idler. We've got a big electric lawnmower battery in here and a connector for it. And then some sheet metal parts from my favorite sheet metal company, Oshcut. They're luckily just a couple towns over, and so I use them all the time to make stuff. And let's see if we can show a sweet section view here of the motor. Oh, maybe if I get lucky, right there. And so the motor itself is fitting in here just like this. Whoa, still getting used to this over SolidWorks Motion. But nonetheless, so motor connects here with a bunch of bolts. I actually machined down this hub, and so it won't work anymore if I want to build a wheel out of it, but it will have tons and tons of torque because of the tiny radius here compared to a bike wheel. And so it should have no problem moving me through the snow. The shooting off the flange surprisingly worked rather well, and so I was able to proceed forward with trying to do a test mount in my 3D printed block, and eventually got it all fit up with the sheet metal you see in the background. But the real question is, did it work?
It's alive! Come on! The baby bug! It's alive! I never knew. I never knew it would be alive.
So the insides are pretty straightforward. You got a cable from the motor that goes to the speed controller, a 40-volt battery, and then you just hook the battery up to the electric skateboard controller, and then it's controlled via remote. Shut it up, screw it all in place, and then you're good to go. So in order for it to move me forward in the snow, I added these wings on the side. They go between the ski and the boot, and they'll help push me forward. It also folds down so it fits inside my Aviaire bag, and it's a pretty tight fit. You also are probably wondering, how much does this thing weigh? Well, it's not light. Clocked in at 13 pounds, which is more than the 10-pound I wanted to have. So enough of that boring stuff. Let's get skiing so that we can go up there and test it out up on the hill. So it turned out skiing with it wasn't too bad actually at 13 pounds. With my backpack straps tight, I didn't really notice it too much as an issue. But one thing I did notice was that it had some pretty sharp edges, which I was worried about ripping through the backpack, and kind of confusing to put it on. I forgot which orientation it needed to go in, and that took a few minutes. So maybe some bright colors would help there. But eventually I got it onto my feet, and we were able to test it out a bit.
Test one. Need more traction. Moves. Maybe if I step on it carefully. Woohoo! Now it works.
All right, well, where's the rest of the video? Well, I hate to tell you that. Of course it broke. So I got about 30 feet, and then this tensioner here busted. And then I ended up breaking also this pulley over here. That was the drive gear. So either way, though, I consider that a great success. It may not seem like it, but it had enough torque to move it. The actual timing belts themselves were able to transfer that torque, assuming that the tensioner didn't break. And I think I can add some paddles to the timing belt to give it some extra traction in the snow and make some bigger platforms so that way I can have more force of this pressing down on the snow. But otherwise, awesome success. Hope you guys like the build video. I'll post another one as I continue to improve on this. Please like and subscribe. I've got a whole bunch of other cool things. I'm going to continue to finish off the fastest cookie oven ever, and probably work on a rocket engine. I've been looking into those rotary detonation engines. Those look good too. So thank you all, and I'll leave you to these final few videos.
Bug, it's a bug. Bug. Mr. Buggy.